Trump's ultimatum to Iran. The countdown that could change everything. The countdown has begun. 10 to 15 days, at the end of which either Iran agrees never to pursue nuclear weapons, or something happens that no one is quite ready to say out loud yet. This is the most serious nuclear confrontation the world has seen in decades, unfolding in real time, right now, while most people are focused on something else. And by the time you finish watching this video, you will understand exactly what is at stake, exactly what forces have been set in motion, and exactly why the coming days could determine the trajectory of the entire Middle East for an entire generation. Stay with me, because this one truly matters. Let's go back to the starting point, because context is everything here. Trump announced publicly, not in a classified briefing, not through a discreet diplomatic channel, but publicly before the press, that Iran had approximately 10 to 15 days to come to the table and accept a significant nuclear deal. His words were precise. His tone was unambiguous. He said the world would know within this time frame if Tehran was serious about reaching an agreement. And he made it perfectly clear what would happen if the answer turned out to be no. It's going to be very detrimental to them, he said. Later, speaking to the press, he confirmed that grave consequences would follow the absence of a deal, and acknowledged considering other actions. Then came the State of the Union address. Trump used this moment, the most watched political address on the American calendar before Congress, the nation, and the world, to tighten the vice even further. He told lawmakers that negotiations were underway, but that Iran had not yet uttered the words that would open a diplomatic path. "We are in negotiations with them," he said. "They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon." Those secret words. Think for a second about that phrasing. A president standing at the most powerful podium in the world, describing the entire fate of potential war or peace as hanging on a sentence that has not yet been spoken. The dramatic weight of this moment is extraordinary, and if you watched closely, if you read between the lines, you could feel what lay beneath. This is the final emergency exit before something much larger begins. Now let's talk about what is actually happening on the ground. Because while diplomats talk in Geneva, the U.S. military is moving pieces on a chessboard in a way no one has seen since the invasion of Iraq in 2003. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced aircraft carrier in the world, has arrived in Soda Bay, Crete. It has joined the USS Abraham Lincoln, which has been conducting 24-hour-a-day flight operations in the Arabian Sea since late January. 2 carrier strike groups, together, in the same theater of operations. This gives the United States a fleet of 14 major warships in the region, including 9 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers armed with Tomahawk cruise missiles. Read that again slowly. 14 major warships, 9 destroyers with cruise missiles, 2 aircraft carriers operating simultaneously. This is not a show of force for the cameras. This is a real, functional war machine, positioned and ready. And then there are the F-22 Raptors, 12 of them, America's most advanced stealth fighters, stationed at Ovda Air Base in southern Israel. And this is where things get deeply serious, because the F-22 is not a plane you deploy to send a message. It is a plane you deploy to destroy enemy air defenses and protect strike platforms, specifically the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. The same combination, as defense analysts have noted, that was used 9 months ago to devastate Iran's deeply buried nuclear facilities at Fordow and Natanz. Trump himself made this connection explicitly in his State of the Union speech. He referenced Operation Midnight Hammer, the 2025 strike that used B-2 bombers and 13-ton bunker-buster munitions to annihilate Iran's nuclear infrastructure. He described it as having destroyed Iran's nuclear weapons program. And then he said the part everyone was thinking. After that operation, Iran was warned not to attempt to rebuild, and now Iran is rebuilding. The tactical model is on the table. The weapons are in position. The calendar has been declared. All that is missing is the decision. But this is where the situation becomes truly dangerous in a way that goes beyond even a military strike, because this time Iran is not staying silent. After Operation Midnight Hammer in 2025, the Iranian response had been measured, calibrated. They had been warned in advance, and they responded accordingly. Controlled, limited, contained. This time they are saying something very different. Iranian leaders have publicly promised a far more aggressive response to any U.S. strike. They have explicitly warned that U.S. troops operating anywhere in the Middle East could become targets. Their message is clear. We will not be warned and measured this time. We will strike back hard, and we will strike everywhere. And Washington and Tehran both seem to believe the other is bluffing. This mutual conviction that the other side will back down when things get serious is one of the most dangerous dynamics in international relations. It is the dynamic that precedes miscalculation. It is the dynamic that turns ultimatums into wars that no one fully intended to start. Both sides think the other will blink, and history is full of moments where neither side blinked. Let's talk about the human dimension of all this, because it gets lost in the military hardware and diplomatic language. Trump made an assertion in his speech that deserves our full attention. He said that over the past 2 months, as protests swept Iran since early January, Iranian authorities have allegedly killed approximately 32,000 protesters. Shot and hanged, he said. This figure is staggering, far higher than independent estimates and well beyond Tehran's official numbers. Whether it is accurate or inflated for political purposes, the image it paints is of a regime under colossal internal pressure, a regime crushing its own people while simultaneously defying the most powerful military on the planet, a regime that, at the same moment, is negotiating in Geneva and firing live missiles in the Strait of Hormuz as U.S. envoys arrive for nuclear talks. That last detail is worth pausing on. Iran fired real missiles in the Strait of Hormuz, while Trump's negotiators were landing for discussions. This is not the behavior of a country seeking a discreet exit from confrontation. This is the behavior of a country trying to negotiate from a position of strength, or trying to give the appearance of it. The distinction is massive, and no one in the room in Geneva knows for sure which one it is. The conditions demanded by the American side are not minor. They are not incremental. The Trump administration has clearly indicated that any deal would require Iran to completely end all uranium enrichment and provide verifiable guarantees that its program cannot be reconstituted, not paused, not monitored, finished, verifiably, permanently. Iran has rejected conditions like these repeatedly, across several administrations, through several rounds of negotiations, through decades of diplomatic efforts. These are not new demands. These are demands that have never been met before. And now, they are being presented with a 10 to 15 day deadline, backed by 2 carrier strike groups, 12 F-22 Raptors, and the explicit memory of a strike that destroyed Iranian nuclear infrastructure less than a year ago. This is the policy of maximum pressure at its absolute extreme, and the question the entire world is asking now, in capitals from Paris to Beijing, from Riyadh to Moscow, is whether maximum pressure produces capitulation or catastrophe. Negotiators meet again in Geneva this Thursday, 2 sides sitting across from each other at a table. One of them operating under a ticking deadline, the other operating under the shadow of a military deployment unprecedented in the region since 2003. What happens in that room, the words spoken or not spoken, the concessions offered or refused, the signals sent through body language and silence as much as through formal statements, could determine whether the Middle East enters a period of negotiated, fragile stability, or whether it tips into a conflict with consequences that no one can fully foresee or control. Trump said Iran must say the secret words. Iran has not said them yet. The countdown is ticking, the ships are in position, the planes are on the ground in Israel, and the world is watching Geneva with the kind of attention that precedes something historic. This is not background noise. This is history. Real history. The kind that will matter not just tomorrow or next week, but for years and decades to come. You need to pay attention, and you need to stay close. If this is the kind of coverage you are looking for, depth, context, the real stakes beneath the headlines, then you already know what to do. Subscribe, because the next chapter of this story is coming fast, and you want to be there when it does.